What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
I'm Jason.
and you are listening to Liquid Kernedge. What's up, buddy?
Oh, nothing, man. Did you get Ron Wolfley to come on the show yet?
I am working on it. I've picked up another side project along the way.
Oh,
Those following us on social media have noticed that I've been trolling the Cincinnati Bengals for the last week.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So some backstory to that.
Okay.
What it basically comes down to is when Tom and I went back to Ohio last week, or a couple weeks back, I had purchased tickets for the Cardinals and Bengals game over the weekend, and I purchased them through StubHub, so everything I had was through StubHub. Well, the week before the game, every day the Bengals organization would send me an email saying, "Hey, your game's coming up. Download our app so you can get use your tickets on it. Then you could do this in the stadium and that, and get up to date Bengal information and whatnot." And I never asked for that.
Ooh.
I didn't sign up for anything. I bought my tickets on StubHub like an adult. I didn't ask to be constantly propositioned by a football team. I just want to be friends with. I don't want to see exclusively. I don't have to watch your games every week. I got a little fed up with it, so I started taking screenshots of the emails and posting them on Twitter and tagging the Bengals in it, and basically breaking up with them every time they send us one. I will, on our Liquid Kernedge Twitter page and Instagram, break up with the Cincinnati Bengals and give them the friend talk and keep them in the friend zone.
You know, that's interesting though, that they already assumed that because you bought tickets to the game that you're automatically a fan of that team.
Right? That's a little presumptuous. That's a lot presumptuous.
Yeah, I mean, now, in fairness, you know, there are a lot of cities where the road teams travel well. Arizona is one of those cities, and I'm sure that Las Vegas is going to be one of those cities pretty soon where the road team travels really well. So it's possible that the city of Cincinnati doesn't have quite the tourism that some of these other cities have. So maybe their thought was, well, why would you buy a ticket to a Cincinnati Bengals game if you're coming to watch the opposing team?
And I agree with that. You know, you can make that assumption, but at the same point, I don't think you can make that assumption and just start sending emails hoping that that's the case. You know, maybe a question, or maybe, hey, if you want to opt in to get information and updates on the Bengals, click this link. Don't just start spamming me from an email address I gave to a different company.
Yeah, I guess it just goes to show you how much professional sports have dominated our lives, in the sense of, you know, building fan bases and building new fan bases and mass marketing on this kind of thing. Now there's, you know, there are the Cardinals this year made it where you can't go to a game unless you have a e-ticket. And there was a big uproar because a lot of people like to collect the actual paper tickets. You know, they like to collect those as a collector's item. So, you know, even now, as we try to make things more electronic, you know, it's not the right move. And so I'm sure that the Bengals are thinking, oh, well, we have a new fan now, so let's reach out to them. And yeah, we'll just plaster our names all over the place instead of, hey, leave me alone.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, I bought tickets to an NFL game, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I did not buy tickets to a Cincinnati Bengals game.
You just happen to be the team that was the home team hosting. Let's not get too crazy there, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I was talking to our EP Tom about this, and he's the very pragmatic one of the two of us, because I want to have some fun with it. And I like to think I'm doing all right with the breakup talks over Twitter, because I have to get pretty creative with the 180 characters that you can use.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, just click unsubscribe. And I was like, I'm not going to just click unsubscribe. I didn't subscribe in the first place. Why should I have to unsubscribe to something I never subscribed to?
Well, how did they get your Twitter information?
Oh, no, they sent it to my email. So I'm just taking screenshots of my email and
okay.
putting the picture on Twitter.
Yeah.
So that's how that's working. But I'm tagging the Bengals in it. So I am working on trying to get blocked by the Cincinnati Bengals, because I see that as a personal and moral victory in this scenario.
Wow. Okay, I think I'm kind of more, I lean toward the executive producer in this one. It's a nuisance to me, and I would see, please take me off your distribution list. You're taking it as, no, I'm going to be proactive to be the guy who they say, wow, this guy's a real jerk. I'm done with him. And you're going to force them to take you off their distribution list.
Yes, I never asked to be put on it. Therefore, I should not have to ask to be taken off of it. They should just remove me from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, that happens with a lot of things, though. We recently bought some furniture for the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you're filling out the information, you have to give them your name, your address, your phone number, and your email.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get a constant email every week about deals they're having on new furniture.
Yeah.
Now, I, I've already bought furniture from you, so why do you think I need to buy more furniture from you?
That's true. But why wouldn't you need to buy more furniture eventually, though?
Yeah, maybe that's what their thought process is that, hey, you know, if I maintain a good relationship with this guy, then he'll come out again.
That might be it. And now I want to ask our fans, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. Have you ever been subscribed to something over the internet that you did not subscribe to and then have to go through your email and just constantly hit the unsubscribe button? We want to hear from you. What would you do in this case? Would you just unsubscribe, or would you troll them right back for harassing you? Let us know. Tag our EP Tom, Liquid_EP, if you'd unsubscribe, and tag me, Liquid Kernedge, if you're all about trolling the people that are harassing you over email.
Now, this does bring me to a thought, though, because I just got done watching the Netflix special Inside Bill's Brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you saw it yet or not,
No.
but it's very interesting to kind of get into the mind of one of the most successful, at least financially, people that's ever been on this planet. But one of the things that I recognize when you watch great men do great things is they have very little wasted time in their lives. Like they don't do activities that are just sit and do nothing kind of activities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, this reverse trolling project that you have might not make Bill Gates's like high priority. I would spend my time doing this kind of thing. Now, what does that say to you and I that you and I might do something like this that we'll probably never be great men because we waste too much of our own time?
Well, I don't plan on starting a multi-billion-dollar software company anytime soon. So, being that my profession is spending some time online doing research, I can't take the 5 minutes to cleverly troll a professional football team and make it feel like I'm being productive throughout the day. So, I have no problem with it because it does fall into my line of work.
So you're okay with the fact that in your life there are certain activities that you do that are probably not the most productive activities, but you just come to terms that, hey, that's just the way it is.
Well, it's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And I think if doing something that I like to do tags me as being unproductive by a billionaire, well, fuck him. You know, I'm not going to sit there and read the stock market newspaper like he does every day or whatever he thinks that's fun for him. We have different interests.
Yes.
And
So
just because we have different interests, I could look at what he's doing and be just as critical saying, well, that's unproductive.
yeah,
Why are you doing that?
or you're not having any fun, or yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're the world's richest man. When you die, you'll be the world's richest dead man. I mean, unless you have some fun with it, who fucking cares?
So you're not one of these type of people that likes being judged by other people about what they could be doing better.
You know what? Yeah, I could be doing a lot of things better, but I'm good at what I do. My job gets done. I think my job gets done well, and I'll take some improvement where I can here and there. But it's not. I don't live to work. I work to live.
So you enjoy your job though too.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
my job's fun. I have a good time with it.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's because I've made a good time out of it over the last 10 years. Anything you do is what you make out of it, you know?
yeah. Well, and I would say probably you're right. We would look at Bill Gates and think, gosh, dude, you're like a workaholic. That's all you did was live, breathe, drank your company. And he's like, hey, but that's what I enjoy doing. That was
Yeah.
my, so hey, live and let live.
That's exactly it. Like, I'm not dogging what you're doing, so don't dog what I'm doing.
And in today's world, that's a hard thing to like grasp, that so many people will not just live and let live. Like they got to constantly berate or have an opinion about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And, oh, I wouldn't do it that way, so your way is wrong. It is pretty blatant at times.
Yeah. And that's not okay to me, you know?
Well, Yeah, I mean, hey, if what I do doesn't impact you, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, it's yeah. God, what's the that's being a libertarian, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, basically, live and let live,
Live and let
and
live, and
yeah,
stay out of my way, and I'll stay out of yours.
yeah. Stay out of my way and stay. Yeah, and which is okay, is fine. But it seems like our preoccupation is getting into everyone else's business and judging, and like I've always loved when you look at someone like a Kim Kardashian, your immediate
Mhm.
thoughts are what your immediate thoughts are, but we forget that no matter whether we agree with it or not, she's made a pretty successful life for herself by doing the things that she's done in this world. And so, but we get like pissy at her because we think that she is who she is.
Yeah. No, she got where she's at by doing nothing and being related to somebody, or screwing somebody on a sex tape.
And yet, I mean, we can say that, but I mean, I would venture to say she probably has done something else, right? I mean, she's got to have done something else. Like she's really good at marketing herself.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
it's the,
she's
it's the
really,
social media age.
yeah, she's really good at that. And I'm amazed how many of these young kids are so wealthy just because they can market themselves on the social media. I don't understand it, but live and let live, baby, live and let live.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
So I'm not even sure how we got on this tangent. I think we had a whole topic for a show, but now we seem to be on this
No,
a third of the way
I
through.
think it was just I was kind of fascinated by your what do you call it,
Trolling.
your trolling of the Cincinnati Bengals, and then my mind immediately jumped to, wow, I wonder what Bill Gates would think about us talking about trolling the Cincinnati Bengals instead of being pragmatic and saying just unsubscribe to them, stop wasting your time.
Well, at the same point, that what would Bill Gates say about our podcast? I mean, what are you really getting out of this?
I don't know. When I listened to him talk on the interview, he seemed a lot different than what I would have expected Bill Gates to be like, I guess.
What do you expect Bill Gates to be like?
I assumed that Bill Gates was this nerdy, unapproachable, like I'm better than you guy who
Uh-huh.
wasn't really good with people and basically made all of his money because he was so focused on the technology that he never learned how to be a person.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my initial thoughts were. Now, don't get me wrong, the guy is very intellectual. So
Uh-huh.
and it sounds like in his younger days he was the drink, breathe, eat, live, sleep, Microsoft. That
Yeah.
was all. That was it. Which, like you said, that doesn't sound like living a life to me. That just doesn't sound like it. But he was a lot more approachable than I thought. Like he seemed like the kind of guy that he knows he's smart, but he would not necessarily look down on you for not being as smart as him if you just had a general conversation.
Yeah.
Which I found kind of interesting that there's some people that when you talk to them, you immediately think you are totally looking down at me, like you're better than I am.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem like that person. Like Kim Kardashian definitely looks like the type of person who thinks she's better than you. Like, don't even bother talking to me because you're not as good as I am.
Yeah. Which, I think at that point, all things being equal, I match that intensity. So if you think you're better than me, trust me, I think I'm better than you.
That's true.
That's an ego thing. That is a posturing thing, and it's just something that people do though too. But I will always, when I get bored, take the time to troll some people, all in good fun, of course. I don't do it maliciously, but if I can find something I can kind of poke at with somebody that I know, I will do that and have some fun with it.
Okay. So that's how we got off on the tangent. I think our minds are like that. Do you ever start off thinking one thing and then 5 minutes later your mind is taking you on a journey?
Every
Like,
day.
oh my gosh, I do that all the time where I'll be looking at something and I said, oh, that's a nice book. And next thing you know, I'm thinking about how zombies don't eat fish.
I don't think I ever quite go that far.
No, I mean but that's what I mean is my mind will go in so many different ways that you're like, how did I end up with zombies eating fish? I don't get
How,
it.
how did you end up with zombies eating fish? Because now I got to know, like, how in your day do you go from that to zombies eating fish.
I know. I don't know how. I think it's just. There's probably a game out there where you start with one word and then you see where it takes you. Like you say dog, and then someone says racing, and then someone says Dale Earnhardt, and then someone, and it just goes off on a tangent. There's probably some game out there that's been
Well, if
created.
there's not a game out there like that, maybe you should call it the Liquid Kernedge card game and patent it.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Yeah, I should. I'll look that up.
Hours of fun for all your friends and family. Not only are we a podcast, now we're also a party game. Liquid Kernedge.
Or put two words on a card, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
have like dog and you have fish, and then you have to come up with 6 words to get you from one to point A to point B.
See, there you go.
There we go. See, got a game now. All right.
So we have a game, and for those of us that are listening, all 5 listeners, don't take our fucking idea. We just tag team that thing. Liquid Kernedge, the party game, coming spring of 2020.
There we go. I like that. Okay, that's good.
So, all right, I like that. Now again, that's off the next tangent that we were talking about. Now we're on the card game, so it's been a very productive show for us so far.
Yeah, we've really covered a lot of ground.
We have checked no boxes on what we wanted to discuss tonight.
Yeah, the way that our show is going this week, and this might be the podcast about nothing, dude.
I agree.
This could be the one right here. That this is basically you enjoy us enough to listen to us for 25-30 minutes to go off on tangents.
Exactly. You people have all said that it sounds like we're a couple of guys talking in a bar. Well, pour yourself a drink because here we are.
Yeah, this might be one of the few ones where we actually don't really have a topic.
Yeah, there's nothing really. Like, it's been a busy couple weeks for me. It's been a busy couple weeks for you. You guys were traveling over the weekend.
Yeah.
I forget what I was doing. I had to work and I had a couple of charity things I had to do. So, I didn't really get a lot of downtime to sit and think about like what we should discuss this week. I know we do want to do a Halloween episode coming up probably the next week or two.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm looking forward to that too, by doing some research. So I don't want to overstep or overlook this particular episode because I think there could be a lot of fun to be had in a show about nothing too.
That's true. Now, isn't this the time of the lack of dating season? Isn't this like your hibernation of dating season starting pretty soon?
That kind of starts after Halloween, but
after Halloween. Okay,
that's a fluid. As you get older, that's more fluid, I think.
Yeah, you kind of whatever, babe. You want to go out?
Like it's like you find a way to make it work one way or the other. If you want to make it work, you make it work. If you don't want to make it work, you'll find a reason not to.
So, Scott, what is the one cocktail that you can make yourself right now that every time you make it, it's perfect?
Tequila. Oh,
just
a cocktail.
A cocktail. Like tequila shot? What are you talking about? I have gotten so good at making myself an old-fashioned.
I was just going to say an old-fashioned. I've been on a kick like that for a couple of weeks.
Oh, well, ever since your trip to Cincinnati, dude.
Yeah, for the last couple of weeks, man. I've been sitting there drinking old-fashions. I had one at the airport up Friday night when we went to go get my buddy's mom. I had one on Saturday just to kind of unwind. They're nice. They're easy. They're refreshing.
Well, I've gotten really good at making my own. Now, I don't know if it'd be good for anybody else, but I've gotten really good at making my own. I've learned that for me, I like to have the orange bitters with the orange muddling.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, for me, it adds just that little extra orange flavor. It's nice.
So what brand of whiskey are you using?
Okay, now I'd just like to say that I've kind of learned a little something about myself. I would go and spend $70 on a nice bottle of whiskey,
mm-hmm.
but I would drink it like I was drinking well whiskey, and so by the end of one night, the whole whiskey would be gone. Mm-hmm. So now what I do is I have the nice $70 bottle, but I only get one drink with it,
mm-hmm.
and then I have the Kirkland Canadian Hunter brand that you can get like a half gallon for $17, and that's what I use after I get the one nice one.
So you have Costco whiskey.
I have Costco whiskey for mass drinking, but I get the one nice cocktail, once, because I would wake up the next morning like, oh, my head hurts, and where's my Woodford, or where's my good whiskey? And you would say, you drank it all. And I went, you've got to be shitting me. And so now I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, I found one. I found a whiskey up in Vegas over the weekend. Actually made out of Park City, Utah.
Oh.
A craft whiskey. They're calling it a bourbon, but I thought bourbons had to be barreled in Kentucky
I believe that is true.
to be considered bourbon, but they're calling this a bourbon. I'm calling it a whiskey just based on principle. But it is probably one of the smoothest whiskeys I've ever had.
What
And
is the name?
it is called, I have it right here, High West Whiskey, American Prairie Bourbon.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So, and now, do you make your own old fashions, or do you just drink a shot of whiskey?
When I'm at home, I'll just drink a shot of whiskey.
Okay.
I'll,
Like,
I'll pour it over ice, like 2 fingers over ice, and sip it.
okay. Okay. Well, I've learned I make a very good old fashioned now. So next time we get together, I will make sure to do the old fashioned.
Yeah, in fact, a friend of ours, Dean, he and I were talking over the weekend, and we thought it'd be nice to have a cocktail evening where, in the past, we've just gotten together for games and random drinks and whatnot. But the EP gave me this great idea over the weekend, or while we were gone the other week, where they got 5 different kinds of bourbon and whiskey, and they made an old fashioned with all 5 different kinds the exact same way to see what the taste difference was.
Oh, I need to hang out with EP more. I really
Yeah.
do. I mean, I know he wouldn't want to hang out with me, but that sounds like an amazing time.
Yeah, so they were thinking of doing it with martinis. I was thinking of doing it with like old fashions or Manhattans or whatever else. But I think it's still a good idea.
Martinis would be good too. I mean, any of the vodka drinks would be okay. Whiskeys would be okay. I like the idea that tequila. There's a lot of drinks you can make with tequila that are not margaritas. They're
absolutely
that's really good.
That's one of the biggest misconceptions about tequila. It is not just for margaritas.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's always the one thing I said Kingman could really use is a nice cocktail bar. I don't know if it would survive because of,
the
demographics that would be supporting it. But every once in a while, it is really awesome in Phoenix to go to a bar where you only get cocktails.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more quiet. It's more refined. I'm thinking from a business owner's perspective, you can charge a little bit more if you have a good menu, if you have a good menu of drinks. I think sometimes people just want to come and relax. They don't want to get hammered. They don't want to, drink cheap liquor, but you could do like really nice craft cocktails.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea, to be honest. And maybe tag that with a cigar bar too.
Oh, now you're talking lingo, buddy.
I think that would go over like gangbusters anywhere. I think you're right. If you have a nice environment that's a little bit more high end with some craft cocktails and cigars, and you kind of institute a dress code with it too, I think you can do a lot of nice things with that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that people would be open to paying a little bit more instead of like $4, $5, you pay like $8 or $9, but you get a nice cocktail. You have to have a really good atmosphere. It's got to be a clean atmosphere, but it would be amazing. That's one thing that Kingman doesn't have.
Yeah, and I think $8 or $9 for a drink really isn't that big of a deal. I think if you're drinking top shelf liquor anyway, you're still underselling it quite a bit, I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh, and we were up in Vegas dropping something off, and we went to a show that they were charging $19 for a drink.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't like a premium cocktail. It was a pre-mixed, like, those drinks that they make, like those hard lemonades. And
but at that point, you have a captured audience at that point too, so you can almost charge whatever you want.
Well, and Vegas has always been the city of, well, you're in Vegas, so $15 for a drink, that's normal.
Yeah, get used to it, pay that, shut up, and go on.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like it's even in the big city, though. We were talking that they have elevated prices just because you're in Phoenix, which kind of But in Kingman, if you're the one horse town, and you're the only place that does it, you might do pretty well charging $8 or $9 for a drink.
Well, I think that's like you said. It also comes down to how high end you make it. If you do a nicer job with it, people will pay for a classier establishment.
Well, and also if they do like one of the big things down here is they do a lot of like bread boards and like finger
charcuterie
foods.
trays.
Yeah, but they're not like just appetizers. They're like kind of gourmet, like you cut up prosciutto and different kinds of cheeses and nuts. And
it's called charcuterie.
Yeah. And, you add a little bit of that, and you can make some pretty quality, high class stuff.
Oh yeah. We have a wine bar here that does that quite a bit, and they do pretty well with it because it's just nice. It just adds an accent to your evening. So
Yeah, it's like it's a different vibe. It's more relaxed, I feel like. Now I know it's not for everyone, but I would think that there's a big population of people that don't have a place like you said, a cigar bar where you just kind of go chill, you talk with friends. It's a little bit more quiet, it's a little bit more subdued.
yeah, I think it's definitely something that can be done. It'd be a lot of fun. It's if there's an investor out there, we have an idea for you.
Yeah, yeah.
The liquid
Or
first the Liquid Kernedge card game, and then a cocktail bar.
gosh, this is like we're having a chairman of the board meeting
It's a very
tonight.
entrepreneurial show for us.
Yeah, yeah.
So I know we're coming close to the end of the show. So I do want to share a funny story that did happen over the weekend on Friday
Okay,
night.
all righty.
So I went with our buddy JP to go get his mom from the airport up in Vegas.
Okay.
So we got there a little bit early, and we decided to go to the airport bar and have a drink and wait. So Friday night, if you're ever bored in Las Vegas and you're tired of gambling, or maybe you're trying to catch a flight out, I'm assuming Fridays and Sunday nights are probably the best nights for this. You never know who you might run into. Famous people, almost famous people, just a very different class, if you will.
Okay.
So JP and I are at the bar, and we're having a drink, and we're watching college football, and they got UFC on, and we can hear this group of guys talking behind us. And they're talking about UFC and camera angles and just the production side of fighting. And they start talking about, like different wrestlers and whatever else. And I started kind of listening in the back of my, like, not listening, but kind of, hearing key words in their conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the guy comes up and gets a drink. We start talking about the baseball game that's on. It was the game one of the NLCS. And we're making small talk about that. And then I just kind of asked him, like, so, man, do you work because the WWE was there last Friday for the major network show on Fox. They were in Las Vegas, so it's a big production. And on an East Coast, it starts at 4:00. So this is about 7:30. So the show's over. It was in T-Mobile, so it wasn't too far from the airport. So people that had go bags can just go to the airport and go home for the weekend. So I'm talking to this guy. It's like, so do you work for the WWE? He goes, yeah, I'm a producer, this and that and the other things. Like, oh, that's cool, And I said, I just heard you guys talking, and we made small talk. We turn around, and there's a podcaster, Sam Rosen, who talks about sports and wrestling and everything else. So I was with them, so I got to talk to him for a second, and that was pretty cool. You got to see, I got to see like an actual person in the industry that we're just dabbling in with this, but he does very well for himself. And so we went to go meet JP's mom and nephew, and we walk around the corner, and there's all these middle-aged men wearing wrestling T-shirts and looking like they should be out driving taxi cabs or their Ubers because they look totally out of place, waiting to get autographs of wrestlers as they're coming through the airport. And at that moment, I realized, fuck, those guys thought I was a total fanboy. I was just making conversation, and these guys are like, JP and I watched them chase down wrestlers for autographs. Like, they hung out in a pack by the escalators and the elevators, watching them come up from ticketing, and they had like a little bird dog watcher, and he would yell like, "Oh my God, there's so and so," and they'd all just take off with their title belts and their toys and whatever else they wanted autographs with. It was the most insane thing. But I took a look at that, and I thought to myself, like, shit, like these guys think I'm probably one of them, because now here I am. It's right. We're not far from the bar. They're walking by, and I'm standing by this group of guys who are chasing down these wrestlers that these other guys work with. And I was like, fuck, man, this is just thank God I'm not really like this, but these guys must think I'm the biggest schmuck in the world.
You know what? They probably didn't, because if you would have been one of those guys, you would have been all up in his face. You just were making small talk. I think he probably thought it was probably pretty refreshing not being bombarded by some jackass.
Oh God, maybe I just had that. Like we were walking back to the car. I was like, "Fuck, man, do you realize what just happened?" I was telling Jake what happened about it. It's like, that's just my luck.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get clumped in with a bunch of losers.
Yeah, I don't want to call them losers. I just want to say their moms were probably getting worried that they weren't coming home yet, and they don't want them being out after dark. But we're gonna wrap on that note. That little anecdote. We're gonna wrap up the show. Why don't you tell us about your favorite cocktail, and would you do a cocktail night with Liquid Kernedge? Nothing like the Hans Gruber, but a classy night. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Kernedge. Or if you want to have just a nice glass of whiskey with our EP Tom and talk about Star Trek, Swear Trek, and Deep Space Nine, hit him up at Liquid_EP on Twitter or Instagram.
Next week's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah, next week we are going to talk. We're going to do a Halloween special. We're going to do some research on some haunted places in Arizona, some fun little tidbits about some ghost stories. I think it'll be cool.
I'm looking forward to it. And you know me, it's not my favorite holiday, but Noreen's is favorite holiday. So I'll be looking forward to trying to have some good things to bring to the conversation.
Absolutely. And I think even our EP Tom plans on joining us next week. So
I think that would be a lot of fun. So
with that being said, thank you everybody for listening to us today. We know we didn't have that much of a structure, but sometimes it's half the fun.
Hey man, sometimes when you listen to Liquid Kernedge, it's all about just feeling like you're in a bar chilling and having a drink. So thanks for listening, everybody. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Kernedge.